Hey, what's up? Dave here. Today we're going to talk about this bike, right? And then later we're going to go over some gear that I wear. First off, none of this is an advertisement. None of the companies that I'm using parts or gear from have paid me. It's not a review because I just don't care to do that. All the stuff I purchased on my own through research and just stuff that I wanted for the bike, right? So starting from the front, as you can see, the bike's still set up for the track. Headlight is taped, and then I got a makeshift number on there. The reason it's set up like this right now is just because I'm waiting on the kit from Armor Bodies, which is on back order from Woodcraft. If you look down, I got a carbon fiber front fender from Litec. I also have Litec mirror block off plates up top, and in between those you'll see a Puig, I guess it's the double bubble or the race windscreen or whatever you call it. It's got some cracks in it. I may have torqued down some bolts a little bit too tight, but it is what it is. There's another one of those on the way, and this one will just probably be dedicated to the race plastics once they get here. On the right side of the bike, got some Asv levers and then a Driven Racing lever guard. On the left side of the bike, you're going to see the same Asv lever, Driven Racing lever guard. Most track bikes that you see are only going to have one lever guard. That's going to be on the brake side. I simply ordered these, or the clutch side, just for symmetry. Clutch lever, you can see, is a shorty, and that's just a mistake on my part. And I didn't feel like spending an extra $100 some odd to get the regular length lever, since I don't use the clutch lever much anyways. The bike's equipped with a quick shifter, so just leaving from a dead stop I use the clutch, but after that I don't mess with it too much. Braking components for the most part on this bike are still factory. I've got EBC pads and then Spiegler lines, but aside from that, calipers and rotors, those are still factory. The bike has a little over 5,000 miles on it, and then about 1,000 of those are from the track just this year alone. We got hot bodies, flush mount turn signals, which it's whatever. I don't use turn signals because I'm right on the track anyway, right? Moving back, you'll see that there's Driven Racing 50mm clip-ons. The factory position of the clip-ons is pretty swept back toward the tank. I bought aftermarket clip-ons so that I could push those forward a little bit, just for a different type of leverage. It just suits my riding style a little bit better. You can see the Asv Clutch Perch. Some issues behind that, right? It doesn't support the clutch switch. I chopped that, made the bike run basically in limp mode, and then I had to rewire the clutch switch and configure it so that it worked for me on the track. It basically disables the quick shifter function and makes it run, I don't know, akin to a 600 if you chop that clutch switch. So it's back on there. I just have to do some messing with it before I get the bike moving in order for the bike to run the way it's supposed to. Moving back, Litec screw-on fuel cap so that I don't have to remove the key from the stem in order to replace fuel. Tech spec snakeskin tank pads for a little bit of extra grip when leaned over in turns. Down here you're not going to be able to see it, but inside there's a Suitor clutch, and that's the only sticker that I have on the bike for any product right now. The Suitor clutch is in there because this clutch started slipping at about 4,200 miles, I believe, and so I just went ahead and replaced the clutch with a Suitor unit, which is far superior as far as I'm concerned. I have Driven Racing rear sets on the bike, set to a medium aggressive position. It's not the most aggressive. I might change that shortly just to help with body position on the track. But these Driven Racing rear sets are pretty nice. I wouldn't call them fully adjustable. You have 6 positions to choose from as far as where the pegs go, but they're good enough. Akrapovic full titanium Evolution exhaust system. I enjoy the sound of it. The dB killer has been removed from it, and you'll hear that in the video. There's a whole lot of popping. That's mostly because the pair system is not blocked off. It is what it is. On the left side of the bike, not too much going on here other than some unplugged connectors. I still got it. Once I get the track plastics, I'm going to go through and remove a bunch of stuff that doesn't need to be here anymore because the components that have been replaced. Those unplugged connectors, we'll talk about those in a little bit. Again, driven racing rear sets, medium aggressive position. Chain is still factory, as it's still good, still has some life left in it. And then a Litec rear hugger. Then I have a Fender Eliminator Kit from, it's like Rage Cycles or something, like New Rage Cycles, I believe. And that's not going to matter too much once the race plastic get on either. I do ride the bike on the street every now and then, but not too often. Right now, I'm using the Michelin Power Cup 2s. I've been riding Michelins basically since I've been riding motorcycles. I find that the feel of Michelins and the performance that they offer suit my riding style very well. The plugs that you see unplugged, the reason for that is there's a power commander and an auto tune underneath the seats. The ECU is tuned by Brock's. Normally bikes that are tuned the way that mine are sit somewhere between 180 and 200 horsepower on the dyno. I'm not saying that that's where mine sits, but I'm assuming that it's no different than the majority of the bikes that have been tuned by Brock's. Aside from that, I don't think there's too many other modifications on the bike. Most of the stuff you can get in store from Superbike Unlimited, Sport Bike Trek, or Revzilla.